You're here.
All 4 of those weeks after that, I'm thinking of
All
telling
four
them
are
to,
here. And these two are particularly family.
We were hiking
I might
in
go out
Arizona
on
when we lived there one time, and my son stopped on the trail, and you never go off trail in Arizona.
Hey, Kyle. It looks like it's 1:30. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for November the 3rd. This is not on the agenda. I hope I don't get in trouble, but I just want to remind people that this is Stephen F. Austin's birthday, 1793. So the father of this great place of hope and glory. The next item on our agenda is to call the roll. Who's down there? Zach. Zach.
Commissioner Russell?
Here?
Commissioner Venus? Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Whitney?
Here.
Commissioner Swaim?
Here.
Commissioner Landis? And Commissioner Nichols?
Here.
So
I'm here, Commissioner Landis. Sorry.
Good. So we have, that means we have 100% participation. Is that right? No? One.
Pamela.
I thought I heard Pamela. No? No Pamela? All right. Well, we do have a quorum. The Planning and Zoning Commission makes recommendations to the City Council. Agenda items Z20-044 and Z20-048 will be heard by the City Council at its regular meeting on Wednesday, November the 11th, 2020, commencing at 9 a.m. All other items approved today will be heard by the City Council at its regular meeting on Wednesday, December the 9th, excuse me, 2020, commencing at 9 a.m. If you received the notice for this meeting, you also received a notice for the City Council meeting. Subdivision plats are approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission solely unless there is a request for a waiver of escrow fees or construction. Only the City Council makes financial decisions. If any item is denied, the applicant has 10 calendar days to file a written appeal with the Planning Department. The appeal will then be acted upon by the City Council. If you're here to speak for or against an item when that item is called for review, you may call 903-363-0651, and you will be placed on hold until that item is called for is open for comments. When you are speaking, please state your name and address for the record. Comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less, although extensions of time may be granted by the chair upon request. The next workshop, following the regular meeting, we have a workshop, and that meeting will be heard here directly after this meeting in this room. And of course, those meetings are open to the public, and it will also be streamed on the Microsoft Teams. All right, the next item is minutes from the last teleconference meeting on October the 6th. Commissioners, if you haven't had an opportunity to review the minutes, is there someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from October 6th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Swaim, second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Unless there's objection, the chair's going to move down on our agenda to item 3, which is PD 20-0221 Chapel Woods Development Limited. And the reason I'd like to do that is that item has been withdrawn, but I know there are a couple of people here who came to appear and speak on that item. So I'll let Kyle tell us about the withdrawal of the item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This item, as you mentioned, has been withdrawn by the applicant, and no further action is needed.
All right, thank you, Kyle. So what that means is we're not going to take any action on that item. It's been withdrawn. But I want the two people who signed up to potentially speak, Elizabeth Gentry and Nancy Wright. If y'all want to stay and hear anything.
I'll withdraw my request.
Okay.
We're just here to make sure that it's in the minutes that's been withdrawn. Thank you.
It's been withdrawn. Anybody else?
I'm Nancy Wright, I was here just to make sure it's in the minutes.
It's been withdrawn, and
Okay.
it's everybody has had an opportunity to acknowledge that. Now, if you want to stay and just watch good government at work, you're welcome to do that. If not, we'll move on to the next. We'll go back to the beginning of the agenda and deal with that item. Any objection to that procedure? All right. Thank you all for your time and presence here. Kyle?
If you'd like me to add, if there's another request for that property, then there would be a notice for that meeting as well. And so the applicant would have to reapply, and if you get notice of that meeting. So if you get something in the mail, you can come back next month or whenever that happens.
Thank you, Kyle. So if this item should ever come up, you'll have notice. All right, let's go back to the beginning of the agenda, which is Z20-044 GenCore LLC. Thorani.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. And I want to say thank you for everyone for being here, and also the viewers watching online, because this is a special day. This is a zone change request from RPO, which is Restricted Professional Office District, to RMF, Multifamily Residential District. This is a property that's located south of the southwest intersection of Eaglewood Circle and Eagle's Nest Boulevard. If you look at the future land use guide, this request would amend the future land use guide from office to multifamily. I want to mention that the applicant is requesting the zone change to allow for a multifamily development in the area. The property to the east and south are zoned RPO. If you would go back to the zoning map. In the south, the property to the south is undeveloped, and the property to the east is a mixture of undeveloped land, and also an office is present over there. The property to the north and west is zoned RMF. It is a single property and is also undeveloped at this point. The applicant is requesting a zone change to allow for a multifamily development. As per the Unified Development Code, RMF allows for a maximum of 24 dwelling units per acre. This property is approximately 1.59 acres, so you can see up to 36 maximum units in the area. Out of the notices that were sent, 5 notices were sent, and 2 was received in favor, 2 in opposition to the request. The opposition percentage was updated to 5.96%. It's not 1.35, it's 5.96%. The opposition were concerned about drainage, noise, and traffic in the area. They were also concerned about decrease in the property value, and they were also concerned about this development being inconsistent with the surrounding community. Staff would like to point that the drainage would be addressed at the development phase. And also with regards to the inconsistency, the property to the north and west is zone RMF, and there's also RPO around the area, and this would not be inconsistent with the surrounding area. Staff has performed a technical review on the request and finds that it's generally consistent with the approval criteria, and staff recommends approval of the zone change.
All right, Ronnie, any questions for city staff? All right, if not, I have two cards on this item. One is from Mr. Burks. Mr. Burks, would you like to speak on this item?
Unless there's any negative that I could address.
Okay. Let the record reflect that Phil Burks of 5800 Eagles Nest Boulevard was here and available for questions. I also have a card from John Nix. Mr. Nix.
Chair and Commission, John Nix, 1515 Jeff Davis Drive, and I'm here representing the ownership of this lot and the lots to the north and south of this one. Our purpose, we've been designing a development on the RMF tract, and when we got in it, it's somewhat crowded, and we would like to expand our parking. We would want to move a corner of a building onto this, and then looking to add a dog park and stuff to that. So it would take, we've got about 8.8 acres. I think it's over 8.5. I think it's 8.8 to the north there that's RMF, and that wraps around it on the west. So that's really the purpose of our request. We feel it kind of squares it up, makes our development work a little better. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Nix?
Okay, thank you.
John, thank you thank you for your time and presence here. Those are the only two cards I have on this item. Is there anybody here who would like to speak? Please come forward to the microphone. State your name and address for the record.
I didn't know about the cards, but I sent in my objection, sort of. I'm Susan Holder, 5940 Bricksworth Drive. I wrote it out more succinctly if you'd like one of these. It's easier. We're just concerned about the general I've talked to Phil Burks via phone, and we're just concerned about maintaining the integrity of the area. We actually knew about Eagle's Nest. We thought all of this was RPO behind us, which limits lighting, limits usage. You know, my understanding, that's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of a thing, low lighting. Since those are single-family residences backed up to this, if they put in, which I think there's a 50-foot high limitation on that, that's pretty high for our backyard. So we're concerned about privacy issues. I know drainage is looked into by the engineering department, not this group, but we've had some problems before when XTO expanded their parking lot at the end of this street. And I also know they're considering extending the road, and we already spent an 8-hour session in planning and zoning to have that not happen a few years ago. So just concerned about different things. Do you want these? I don't have COVID.
Sure. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, please pass. Sure.
I wasn't sure how many people needed it, and we can give one to Mr. Burks.
We can make copies here, Mr. Burks.
I've got 10 copies.
Sue, does your house back right up to
Yeah,
this?
right to it. Yep. And since it's higher geographically, it concerns us because, let's just say, if they did townhomes or something like that, or garden homes, you know, I know those are multifamily too. We're just concerned about high-rise apartments, lots of concrete, and if you add that many people, they're going to have security lights, and that means I get them. So.
All right, so any questions from Ms. Holder?
I don't know what else to do further from here. We'll just wait and see.
Okay.
Ms. Holder, which lot is yours?
Mine is the one with the smallest amount of red.
Okay.
And then the next one down is Dr. Weiner's, and I'm here speaking on his behalf as well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Everybody else is working, so.
Sure.
I got the.
Thanks. Good to see you. Good to see you, Sue.
Clark is also in that area. Did you want to speak? Okay.
Anybody else? I don't have any cards. Anybody else present who would like to speak on this item? Zach, do we have any electronic communications?
No, sir.
All right, thanks. John, Phil, do you guys want to address Ms. Holder's concerns or questions, or have you already talked?
As far as drainage concerns, this particular lot drains onto us before it gets to Brixworth. So, I mean, the parts we aren't rezoning are the ones that'll directly affect and have to mitigate the drainage if this becomes part of the northern lot. So as far as we are planning and are allowed to do multi-level on the RMF to the north, we don't really know what that looks like at the end, but they're not going to be townhomes or garden homes on the RMF section. This to the north and to the west of this.
So there'll be at least 3 stories?
We don't have the final plans yet. Once we submit those to the city, we'll know and finish that design.
I guess the other question was lighting.
Lighting, the city already has lighting. If you'll look at multi-level, I mean, lighting is just there for the lower levels. There's there for transportation, for foot traffic. Even if we went up, we're not planning on putting spotlights at 2nd or 3rd stories to shine light out. And we've got rules that we can't let certain amounts of light leave our property anyway by city codes. So.
Mr. Nix, what about buffering or any kind of buffer yard? Have you gotten into any of that, those intricacies yet?
We're going to easily be able to meet and exceed all the city's buffer yard requirements.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all know Mr. Burks personally, but we have to talk to him about every tree we take down pretty much. And he's planning on leaving as many trees as possible on that edge. And that's kind of, you can see that in his office park that he has up there, and he owns this as well. And so just as kind of aesthetically and what he looks to see is as much natural trees and as much natural foliage left as possible.
Okay. Okay.
May I ask what the buffering requirements are by the city? Because we bought a green belt behind our houses for just this reason.
Right.
I didn't know if the
Off of, between RMF and R1A, I believe it's a type A buffer yard. I'll let Steve, I don't know why.
Yep.
Sue will let the city staff address the buffer yard
Yep.
requirements.
The city requires a type A buffer yard. There are several options that the developers could choose. It could either be a 10-foot wide planting area with an average of 1 tree of 6-inch DBH or larger at maturity per 50 feet, or 1 evergreen shrub per 50 feet. Or they could choose a 7.5-foot planting area with an average of 2 trees of 6-inch DBH or larger at maturity and 2 evergreen shrubs per 50 linear feet. Or they could choose a 5-feet planting area, and there are 2 options to be chosen for that as well. And they could also have a masonry wall as an option as well.
Okay. Sue, if you, we want to hear what you have to say, but if you'd come to the microphone, please.
I usually don't get accused of soft-speaking.
It's okay.
If you can show that again where it's the satellite picture, that'll give you a good idea of what we're, see? So you've got all these trees, and he wants to square it up, you know, it's less than 2 acres. But our concern is it just came to our attention with this, that is a multifamily thing, and that's already been zoned.
Mm-hmm.
So we get all that. We just want to be reasonable and try to, and I've worked with Mr. Burks before, and I know he's reasonable, so I'm just sort of lodging this concern, and I want to be on that committee that decides how many feet and how many trees. Okay?
Well, after today, we'll have a new mayor, so you can talk to him about that. Those are all the cards or comments that I have. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this item for or against? For each of you, for those that are here, thank you for your time and presence. Jimmy?
Yeah, Commissioner Reed, Thorny, can you also just go over lighting requirements specifically for us for the city of Tyler, and then also building height as well? Since we got that from Mr. Nix, but we didn't get that from the city for record.
can speak to the lighting. So the city does have an ordinance that prohibits any, I guess, spillover of lighting. It's measured at 3 feet at the property line, and it can't exceed 0.2 feet candles. And so I understand that's a weird measurement or form of measurement, but essentially what it says is that there can't be any excessive lighting escaping from the property onto residential property. So we do have a standard for that, and we do have instruments that can measure that. And so if there is a concern later on, that can be addressed or mitigated with a code complaint or action. So I think the is looking at the building height. I believe it is 50 feet as well. And so this property here is essentially the zone change today is to allow this property to be part of that overall development, which is already zoned for multifamily. So,
Okay.
yeah, 50 feet.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Commissioners, any other comments or discussion on this item? If not, would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Z20-044.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second?
Commissioner Nichols, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
So basically, the residents of Brixworth, their main, at this point, I mean, it's already zoned, but if there's a lighting problem, they'll have to come back to who exactly? To planning, to engineering? Who would they talk to?
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement, okay.
Any other discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. Good luck with your project. Next is Z20-045, Louis Rippey and Jennifer Rippey, 5105 Biloxi Drive, Thorani.
This is a zone change request from R1A, Single Family Residential District, to NR, Neighborhood Residential District. This is a property that's located south of the southwest intersection of Shiloh Road and Biloxi Drive, and it is on the Biloxi Drive. The applicant is requesting the zone change to allow for a greater density residential development in the area. The property to the north is zoned R1A and is the location of a church, and the property to the west is zoned a mixture of R2, PUR, and R1A, and is developed with duplexes and also some undeveloped land is present. The property to the east is zoned RMF, it's on the other side of the Biloxi, and is developed with apartments, and the property to the south is zoned PUR, and they're developed with single-family homes. The future land use guide identifies this area as multifamily, and this would change the future land use guide to townhouse and garden apartment, because the applicant is planning to develop attached units on the property. Staff would like to point out that NR allows for a maximum of 10 dwelling units per acre. The current zoning R1A allows for 4.84 units per acre, so this would increase the density. With the single-family homes to the west and multifamily to the east, this would serve as a proper transition in the area. Out of the 16 notices that were sent, none was received in favor and none in opposition to the request, and staff recommends approval of the zone change.
All right, thank you, Thorani. Any questions for city staff? All right, I don't have any cards on this item. Is there anybody present who would like to speak on this item for or against? If not, Zach, do we have an electronic participant?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
And that motion would be?
That we approve Z20-045.
The motion's been made to approve this item. Is there a second?
Commissioner Swain, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion at all? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items approved. Next is Z20-046, 4D7 Series LLC. Thrani?
This is a
How
zone
come
change
you- how
request.
come you got the short stick today?
I'm sorry?
Nothing, it's okay.
This is a zone change request from RMF, Multifamily Residential District, to RPO, Restricted Professional Office District. This is a zone change request. The applicant is requesting to bring the property into compliance, and this property is located east of the northeast intersection of South Fleshel Avenue and East Front Street. The future land use guide identifies this property as multifamily, and this would amend the future land use guide to office. Going back to the history of this property, this is still an office building. It was constructed in 1985, I believe, and when it was constructed, it was zoned R3, and back that time, R3 allowed for offices, and RMF does not allow, so they're trying to just bring the property into conformance. Out of the 9 notices mailed, 1 was returned in favor and none in opposition to the request, and staff recommends approval of the zone change.
All right, thank you, Thrani. Any questions for Thrani, city staff? If not, is there any persons present who would like to speak on this item for or against? All right, Zach, do you have anybody electronically?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Z20-046.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? All right, if not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item's approved. Next is Z20-047, Serrata Guillermo Lozano. I hope I did that right. 717 East Oakwood Street, Thrani.
This is a zone change request from M1 Light Industrial District to R1B Single Family Residential District. This is a property that's located east of the southeast intersection of North Beckham Avenue and East Oakwood Street. The future land use guide identifies this property as single family medium low density, and this would indeed be consistent with the future land use guide. The applicant is requesting a zone change to allow for a single family development. This request would also be inconsistent with the Tyler First goal of adding 3,000 households in the north end. Out of 20 mail notices, 1 was returned in favor and none in opposition to the request, and staff recommends approval of this zone change.
All right, thank you, Thrani. Any questions for city staff? Are there persons here who would like to speak on this item for or against? Persons present. If not, Zach, do we have anybody electronically?
No, sir.
That being the case, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve item Z20-047.
All right, Mr. Nichols makes a motion. Is there a second?
Commissioner Swaim, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. Next is Z20-048, Christus Trinity Mother Francis Health System.
This is a zone change request from AR, Adaptive Reuse District, to INT, Institutional District. This is a property that's located at the northwest intersection of South Fleshel Avenue and East Lawrence Street. The applicant is requesting the zone change to allow additional parking for the Mother Francis. This request would be inconsistent with the future land use guide, and the applicant plans to construct parking lots to serve the Trinity Mother Francis, and this request will also be consistent with the Midtown Area Development Plan, which recommends supporting expansion areas for parking for Tyler Junior College and also medical campuses. Out of the 13 notices mailed, none was returned in favor and in opposition to the request, and staff recommends approval of this zone change.
Thank you, Thorani. They're just adding, it looks like they're just adding to the parking that's just south of them already. Okay.
Yes.
All right, any questions for city staff? If not, are there persons here who would like to speak on this item for or against? Zach, do we have anybody electronically?
We do have the engineer for this project available if you have questions for her.
I'm sorry, Zach. The nursery operation is interfering with my ability to hear. Could you start all over again?
Yes, sir. We do have the engineer for this project available if you have any questions for them.
All right, and who is that? Is there a name or?
Megan. Her name's Megan.
All right, any questions for the applicant? If not, would someone like to make a motion? Mr. Swain?
Make a motion, we approve item Z20-048.
Commissioner Nichols, a second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. That gets us down to plats. Thorani, we've got two plats here. The first one is F20-135 Toby Walton subdivision. The reason we're here is the little children of Texas, and that's very important. But it's kind of distracting. If I could have some. Okay, thank you. Thorani, let's discuss this first plat, Walton subdivision, Second Amendment.
This is a two-lot subdivision containing approximately 0.52 acres of land located south of the southeast intersection of Barnes Street and Fester Street. The property is currently zoned R1A, single-family residential district. The applicant is planning to subdivide one lot into two. Since this plat required notices, that's why it's on the agenda. All the staff comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Thorani. Are there persons here who would like to speak on this plat? Anybody electronically?
No, sir.
If not, Mr. Reed?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve F20-135.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the plat. Any questions, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's approved. Next is F20-093 Annie Jones subdivision, First Amendment. Ronnie?
This is an 11-lot subdivision containing approximately 2.48 acres of land located south of the southwest intersection of Old Noonday Road and Frankston Highway. The property is currently zoned R1A, and the purpose of the plat is to replat 9 lots into 11. All the staff comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval.
All right, is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this plat? Anybody electronically, Zach?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Any questions for city staff? If not, would somebody like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve F20-093.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Nichols, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this plat. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's approved. Thorani, we have consent plats, 3 of those. Would you just briefly go through the list?
All the 3 plats, it's F20-124 Ginn Farms Unit 4 First Amendment, F20-095 Oak Creek Unit 5 Final Plat, F20-079 Miller Tucson Oaks Addition. All the staff comments have been addressed for all of these plats, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Thorani. Are there persons here who would like to speak on any of these plats? These are on a consent agenda. There's no discussion or comments. We're going to deal with them as a group. Zach, any electronic?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to approve consent plats Group A?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Nichols, recommend a motion to approve consent plats Group A.
Commissioner Swaim, second.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent plats Group A are approved. All right, now we have consent plats Group B. Ronnie?
All
No.
the staff comments have not been addressed for both of these plats, and at this time, staff recommends denial.
Any persons here who'd like to speak on this item, these two plats? Zach?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to deny consent plats Group B?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we deny consent plats Group B.
Commissioner Reed, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny consent plats Group B. All those in favor of the motion to deny, say aye.
Aye.
Any other votes? If not, then those plats are denied. That brings us down to the consent construction plats Group A. Tharani, are you?
Yes, Group A is recommended for, staff recommends approval for all of the construction plans.
Okay. Any public input, anybody here on these construction plans, Group A? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent construction plans, Group A?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent construction plans Group A.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Swaim, second.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the consent construction plans Group A, say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? All right, those are approved. We're going to take about a 5-minute recess, and at the conclusion of that, we'll come back for our workshop on items scheduled for the December meeting.